Yeah, thank you, Janice, for the introduction. So, yeah, people ask me 2049, Felix, why do you want to look so far ahead? Um, Sometimes in life, I would say even in rare cases, if you look further ahead, certainty actually goes up. I'll give you an example. I can't really tell you what's going to happen in your life in 5 to 10 years, but in 100 years, it's very certain where we are going to be. Yeah? And there is something similar happening in e-commerce. So I want to explore. It's difficult to say what's going to happen in 3 to 4 years, but it's pretty certain how the world in 25 years is going to look like. So I want to explore this today with you. And I think if you have that long-term vision, if you know that's where we are going to be in 25 years, then it's also easier to deduct, okay, strategically, what is actually the right move to do now, today? And I think this has never been more important than today because there's a lot of change coming. I think we all know that. So it's important to start that vision today and maybe, put your head up a little bit from the daily job and think about this long-term vision. And I invite you to do that today. Before we go 25 years ahead, I want to go 3 million years into the past because the revolution we've seen today is not the first revolution of our job. There has been job specializations before, and this is, you've been good at farming, so you did the farming, and somebody else was doing the hunting. Later on, when the pyramids were built, we realized that central organizations actually help doing big projects. And then later on in England, you saw the first companies coming up. And 200 years ago, we started the Industrial Revolution, which was about automating manual tasks. And I think the way I would frame the revolution that we are starting today is that we are automating human decisions. And I think it's important to understand what it is at core. It's not about agents, it's not about AI, it's about automating human decisions. And that will affect the decision of the consumer to buy products, but it will also affect your decisions as seller, how you're selling things, what decisions are you making in the company. But let's start with the consumer. So an obvious one is that the consumer is going to be in 25 years a lot older. On average 52 years, but still very tech savvy, a lot more tech savvy than consumers today, because they have used the smartphone for a long time already. And now the big thing, the one thing you have to take away from today, there will be an interface switch. Yeah, I think Steve Jobs saw this coming already 15 years ago. He didn't like keyboards, right? He removed the keyboard from the iPhone, or he invented a phone without keyboard. And Siri has been there also for 10 years already. Just it wasn't working that well. This has changed now, right? The AI assistants like Siri, they can be made very, very powerful in 49 for sure. At the moment, it still sucks, but it will change, right? And that has big implications. It means that you don't even have to open your phone. You can just buy something talking to your phone. And that AI system will be extremely powerful in 25 years. It will know all products in the internet. It will know all the reviews, everything. And it will be perfectly able to communicate with you. It will be extremely convenient. And the result of that is that the market share of AI commerce will go up a lot. And that is not the commerce we see today. That's not like this, you open your chatbot and you start buying something in there. It's really, I think the phone is maybe on your side, or even you're talking to your watch. And then, the AI is guiding you through the whole purchase process. And that is a big difference. We are at 0% today in Europe, and we might be at 75 in a midterm already. That's a big change to come. Now, how is it going to work, right? You're sitting somewhere, you say, hey Siri, actually I just figured out I need an outfit for a wedding in a week. And then this is what LLMs do really well. I think they can do machine-human communication, right? So they're responsible for actually talking to you and say, hey, what do you really want to buy? So that might involve like when do you need to have it, what kind of dress do you want, and they also have context, like they know what you've been buying before, and that will be like they're already doing extremely good job in understanding what you want to buy, understanding that intent. Once you have the intent, the next step is kind of matching the intent with the database. Google calls this shopping graph. It's kind of a big database that constantly updates with all the products in there, all the reviews, the product attributes like color or how big it is. And then the intent is going to be matched with the products. And so this is not really LLMs doing that. I think this is a database operation. And then you have a product list, which will be, to some extent, predicted. So let's have this example here. So for this lady, she wants a dress, and I need to predict like what kind of fit is this dress for her for herself. Yeah, because that is not saved in the database. It's a customer-specific prediction. How well does this dress fit to her? And that has to be done with machine learning predictions. There's also an environmental fit, right? And that depends also on the customer because there will be shipping costs, and that's going to be different depending on where you live, actually. And quality might also be different, right? And then when you have that prediction, so that prediction step is not there today, actually. It will have to be developed. Then you can make a choice. You say, okay, I know you. I know for you, a dress, it's important to have high quality. You want you have environmental concerns, and personal fit is very important to you. And that's why I recommend to buy this dress. And that's an optimization. That's a mathematical optimization. I'm trying to maximize your needs, basically. Why do we want an optimization? Because if I go to you next day, I want the same response, right? I mean, LLMs don't work like that. They come up with a different response every day. But I don't want that. As a consumer, I want to be consistency. I want to trust you. So if I ask the same question, I want the same response. And I also want to understand why. It's not enough to say, hey, this is the best dress for you. You also have to explain. And this is why you need this prediction step in between. Yeah, this is an important point. It's not there today, actually. They still have to develop this, but this is going to be developed. It's not that difficult, I would say. In this case, there's a lot of automation already of that consumer decision, but the final thing could still be the consumer saying yes. So I think that's still possible, that the consumer, for important purchases like a dress, they will still say, okay, yes, buy this for me. For many, like a laundry detergent, for example, this will just be bought. Your AI assistant understands that you need it, and then they will just buy it for you. So let's summarize. How is the setup? So the consumer is older but very tech savvy. The most important thing is there is an interface switch. No keyboards, no websites, no mouse. You're just talking to the AI assistant. The consumer access changes. So there's new marketplaces coming up. This could be Siri, it could be Gemini, it could also be, I think Amazon calls it Rufus. That is not clear, yeah, who's owning that marketplace, but it will be AI assistant. The intent will then be figured out by LLMs, by large language models. But later on, there's also predictions going to happen to understand like how well is this product fitting to the consumer. And as a last step, there's a recommendation, which is like a mathematical optimization coming from database operation. Now, if that's the future, the big question, of course, for many of you is like, how am I supposed to react on that, right? So the consumer gets help. They don't see like my website anymore. And like an AI is basically assisting that consumer in his decision. So how are you supposed to respond? And for me, the most logical response is really to also automate your own decisions, right? Because if you're honest, there's a lot of potential still to make better choices, right? On purchasing, what kind of products do you want to produce and what quantity? How do you want to price it? How do you want to market it? And this is like your chance. The consumer gets help, gets more optimal, but you can also be more optimal yourself. And this is what you have to be working on. And I think the main setup for, I would say, for most sellers is actually to get help on this one. Yeah. So the main setup will be that you are sharing your data with a software provider. It's not like you're giving away your decisions completely. Yeah. It's really like you think of it as like, I want to grow by 10%. Give me the decisions that make me grow next week on my shops by 10%. And then the software calculates how that could work best in the most profitable way. And then you get the decisions back, you play them, and you grow by 10%. That's how it will work. Yeah? Of course, like big companies like Amazon, they're already doing that, and they do it on their own. But most sellers will get help on this one. Yeah, so that will be the main setup. If you go in one example, I think that is one decision complex where there's most potential, I would say, is the purchasing decision. Yeah, I would say, especially as if I'm buying like clothes, I'm always puzzled. Like there's always the same colors for men of what you can buy, always the same styles. And the reason is that most brands have to order like super long in advance, like 9 months in advance or something like that. And that is impossible to predict, basically. It's extremely difficult, which is why most of them just kind of try to buy the same stuff, maybe 10% more. And I think this has to change, or it would be great if it's changing, because if the manufacturing capacity is more short-term, it's much easier to automate this, yeah, because the signal of is this product working is just much faster in, as opposed to if I'm producing something that is consumed 9 months later, then I can't really optimize quickly. Yeah? So that would be amazing if you manage to do that. That probably means more localization, more differentiated products, and more real-time demand data that you can use. So you can, let's say, you can test a certain product, and then you can like produce it in like mass market if it works well in this test. I know this is super difficult. Yeah? I'm not saying I have the answer how to do that. I'm just saying this would be the right way going forward. And one more thing that is super important on purchasing is filters. Yeah? Because the one crazy change from today versus in 25 years is the amount of products that people are seeing is it's drastically reduced, right? Today, when you're buying something, you're seeing like thousands of products before you're buying like 3 or 4 of them, right? In this world, you see like 4 or 5 products and then you're buying, because you trust this AI assistant, and that's why it's like very important to understand what people are searching for, what are the filters, and how can you produce products that people are actually looking for. So not only do you have to share your attribute data correctly with the LLMs, but you also have to understand what people are looking for on these LLMs. Yeah? Because otherwise you will be invisible, basically. One thing, of course, where you can increase your visibility is price, and this maybe even becoming more important. Less so by price matching, but more like because if you're reducing your price, you can still be more visible, right? Because people are using these filters like, give me the best product for money, which is under 100 euros, best quality, something like that. So if you're above 100 euros and you drop your price, then you will be more visible. So pricing, of course, what 7Learnings is doing, it looks like this. It gives you an understanding where you are right now. Like that's a prediction, right? It tells you make like 5 million euros in revenue, 1 million euros in profit if you're not changing anything. And then it gives you, just like Google Maps, the chance to say, okay, I want to become more profitable, or I want to become like growing faster. And then it already predicts what are the results of these targets that you can pick. That's the future, right? You do not make a choice on product level anymore. The product level decision is delegated to software providers, but you make a choice on the target. What do you want to achieve? Yeah? And that's the important part. And the rest is then optimized in a similar way that the consumer will optimize their decision, by the way. And the last one is really on marketing, or like on the integration. today I think marketing decisions are often like detached from pricing decisions and from other departments in the company. And I think doing things together, like optimizing things together, is also a big lever. So I think on LLMs as well, there will be the opportunity to do advertisement. But similar to today, if you're very expensive, you can do as much advertisement as you want to. You won't have any conversion. So price is like very important, deterministic in determining how successful you are going to be with your marketing campaign. If you're very cheap, you cannot afford marketing actually, because cost per click, you can't, you don't have the margin to spend on it. So these two things have to be optimized together going forward. And that there is more optimization potential in doing that. As a summary, yeah, what is the response strategy for preparing for this world where the consumer is actually moving to AI assistants? Is you have to not only automate things, but really optimize things. And that means you have to predict what are your options and then make a choice automatically, like what are the best options for your goals. Then your USPs, for most of you, it's going to be in your data. So if I had time to spend, I would put it into data quality rather than in the software itself, because there will be providers who are helping you on that. You have to optimize API access to the AI assistants that are coming up, obviously. So you have to list your products there, but you also have to understand, and that's maybe more important, how can you use the data, what people are searching for on these assistants, to inform your product department to actually build products that people are looking for. And from my perspective, this also means that you have to become probably more granular, kind of trying to find demand pockets where not so many competitors are in there right now, right? For example, like, I don't know, a green t-shirt with a yellow print on it, something that is like kind of, maybe you're the only one doing that. How do you figure that out, that this is a big thing right now? How can you experiment with that? That's a big question. I don't have the answer how to do that, but it's important, I think, in 25 years. You need to use the filters people are using. And yeah, it's easier if you have short-term manufacturing capacity, because otherwise you have to wait like 9 months to see if there was a successful product, and that is too long. I think it's even if your purchase price goes up, if you do nearshoring, if it's like not that much, but if it's a small increase in purchase price, I think it's okay. If that increases your time to market, it's still okay. Okay. Yeah, I hope this gave you a first insight, and I think there's 10 minutes for questions. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. It's enlightening. I think I get that you presenting future AI as objective judge, which can decide which product objectively best for a person. And suppliers actually compete in an ideal market where everything is equal. They have to compete with price. They have to supply data quality. But don't you think if every person trusts AI assistants very much, the main advantage actually will be in marketing, in optimizing for AI agents, trying to influence decisions? Because if it's looking for a summer shirt, for example, for unclear intent, it will be millions of the products, and AI will have a hard time to decide which one to show.
Yeah, I get your question. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think that the AI assistants will be or can be tricked. Yeah, I think that is because as a consumer, you will prefer an AI system which is objective, right? And therefore, also Google, even like the idea of ChatGPT now introducing ads, right? There is, it's difficult because actually what you're trying to build as an AI assistant builder, you're trying to build trust. And if you allow for what you just said, then there is no trust.
But right now, ChatGPT, Gemini, they are trickable, very trickable, I say.
Yeah, I think that will change.
But okay, my point is that for unclear intent, it's very hard to define the best product. You
I
can
know that's why I think it's not this part will move from like what is done now in LLMs. It will move to more database operations, like more deterministic optimizations.
okay, I get it. It's not. I'm not for the discussion. So your point is
But
will
we
be.
can discuss afterwards maybe, yeah, because there's
cool.
more questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much. You are talking about optimizing, and it sounded a little bit like recommender systems. I wanted to explore a little bit whether you also believe that companies should be focusing on not just optimizing for humans, but also for the engines or the LLMs that are going to be defining the products that are going to be picking. So a little bit more into generative engine optimization, and whether that's something that 7Learnings is focusing on.
Yeah, so we are working on a product, like our main core product, where I think we probably have the best offer in the market is pricing. We have a pretty good offer for marketing, and we're working on an ordering product as well, but not so much. It's not a product that kind of lets you create new products which are based on the data from LLMs. That's not yet, but I think it would be an amazing product. Maybe we build that.
Not new products, but you know, when you go to an LLM and you request for the best helmet or for
Yeah.
the best T-shirt,
Yeah.
and then the LLM has its own logic to recommend that. So whether that would be something also worth exploring, and not just optimizing for humans, but also optimizing for LLMs, so that your product always pops up in the LLM search that is
but
recommended to you.
it's similar to the question of the other one, right? It's I'm not sure like how easy it is to optimize for that. I think because there will be some form of ads probably in there, right? So you can do that, but it will be very expensive. But other than that, I think the most successful assistants will be objective, basically. They know what your product is, they know all the reviews, so it's not that easy to trick this LLM, I think, or this service. Yeah. Is there more questions? Yeah.
Hi, Felix. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed your presentation. So I'm curious, what is the main driver for the C-levels to actually adopt the agent e-commerce? Is it FOMO, so the emotional reason, or is there a specific KPI that they are trying to optimize?
Good question. I think it's like it's like more like a river. Think of it as a river, right? I mean, there's like websites today, there's Amazon, and now there's AI assistants. And what they are doing, they're just closer to the source of the river. And they are actually having the first access to the consumer in the future. Again, it's not there yet, but we know it's coming, right? And that's driving this idea. I have to get closer to that because these guys, like Google today, right, with search, they have the first consumer access, and this is going to be the case with the assistants. Siri is going to have the first consumer access, and maybe even Amazon is going to lose it. That's, I think, what I see, and that's why you need to engage with this because they make a choice, and then you don't get the water anymore, basically, right? That's the point. That's the problem. Yeah.
Thanks, Mateusz from Poland. I'm just thinking about what should be the main focus for small business companies, and the reason for this is I think that as a small business company, I will have the biggest opportunity to show in the results of AI software only by showing up in marketplace results. So being in the
No,
major,
maybe you can list directly, right? Why not
of
listing
course,
directly?
but only if the endpoint device using the AI assistant would let me to buy the ad, because let's say I have a website of I don't know, like 10,000 or 20,000 visits per month, like a small business company, let's say, And if AI assistant is able to show the product listings, it will be based on major e-commerce websites only, like Amazon ones.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Not necessarily. I think the logical thinker of this is like, right, I'm owning the river, the source of the river, right? What I would do if I would own it, I would just open my own marketplace, right? And Google already has that, right?
If you have $100 million budget, you will be able.
But the
to open
Americans have
marketplace.
that, right? So I think this whole revolution is a big issue for the big marketplaces today, because why do you need them for? What do you need them for? I mean, if everybody's already anyways in Siri, right? And they use Gemini, we know that already, right? They already have Google Shopping. They can just kind of get all the products from there. They don't need the marketplaces anymore, basically.
For example, if I search on Claude, Anthropic AI, for products nowadays in Poland, let's say, there are majority of the results are from Allegro, the main Napsters company.
Yeah.
So,
but that will change, as I mentioned. I think this is today. Yes, it's like that.
Yeah.
But as soon as you have this database solution, it's not implemented yet.
Yeah.
But it will be implemented, right? Today, many of the results come directly out of the training, which is nonsense. It's very expensive. It's slow. It's not deterministic. It's not going to stay like this, right? The future is you have a database where actually all the products are stored, and then there is just a big efficient database operation that kind of picks the products. And your products can be in that list, especially if you're directly connecting to Gemini.
All right.
And that would be my strategy, like trying to do a direct connection to to them.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks.